Well. Welcome back to the Kamp podcast.
We're back. Episode 105.
We've got a very special guest today on the podcast, our beloved Tanner Riccio.
Hello. 105, huh?
Yeah.
Past 100?
Oh, yeah. We're past 100, baby. We're 105.
So the 100th wasn't that the last one we did?
The 100 was, at Kamp Fest, live
Yeah.
at Kamp Fest.
Yeah.
So every 5 episodes, you have to come back and talk to us.
Let me just put in nicotine, so.
Yeah, me too. I'm already kind of feeling pretty gross from it.
Hopefully you don't have to make a mud pie.
Oh, shit. So, yeah, I mean, we did the one episode live, and then we did one at your at your house.
At my dad's?
No, it was your house, but your dad was there.
Mm.
And my favorite part about that episode was the whole front wipe, back wipe debate, which we're not going to get into on this one, but
we're not going to go down that road just quite yet.
I think we've covered that.
What episode do you think that was? I think it was maybe like the beginning of the podcast, maybe like episode 20 or something.
I can't remember. But yeah, I mean, the classic wipe debate, that was a good one. People are saying that we do talk about poop too much, so I'm going to try to just gloss past that one.
Yeah, we should grow up.
There is a right and a wrong, but it's okay. But my favorite part of that was that your dad was there, and then he walks up, and I asked him about wiping and which way he wipes, and he lied, and he tried to throw you under the bus.
Yeah.
And it was just, I wish so bad that we had that on camera of your father lying, and us catching him lie and then saying, you're lying. And
well, he was ashamed that he was the one who taught me that.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
But you know, you live and you learn.
Is he coming?
Sometimes you don't learn.
Is he going to walk in at any moment?
I brought him here.
Dude,
we have a special guest.
Yeah.
Dude, if you would have done that as a surprise, that would have been
sick.
amazing.
I know you brought like 5 people in here today. We got our manager just sitting in the corner breathing loudly.
Yep. We got Lorenzo. Shout out Lorenzo. Lorenzo's in the house. Yeah, man. So how do you like the stew?
It's nice.
Yeah. You feel cozy in here?
It's like a real podcast, guys.
Welcome to the cabin, dude.
I know. I feel it's crazy.
All this nice oak behind me.
It's
real.
Yeah.
It's all real. Everything here is real.
Yeah, me and Ryan had to chop down like 5 oak trees, right?
Yeah, well, I did 4 and you did the 1 because your wrist hurt.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Like
Sounds about right.
Like when you were juicing juices at Mother's.
Wow.
Do you remember when he would come home and he'd be like,
my wrist hurt. I had so many juices. I made so many juices today.
Oh, shit. So when we're on tour, like me and Tanner were always roommates because Andy would just sometimes never come back to the hotel. But if he did, he would come back like 3 a.m. and not know which room he's in and need somebody to come get him from the lobby. So we decided it was best to just be us two. But you do this really cool thing in your sleep where you just start screaming.
I knew you were going right off the bat with this.
Yeah, Tanner does this awesome thing where you'll be sleeping really peacefully and then out of nowhere he just goes, and you're just like, what is going on?
Yeah,
So
wait, you're
walk
debating.
Us through that. What's going on there? Have you ever seen a doctor, or is it
I've never seen
dreams?
a doctor in my life. No.
Wow.
Not about that.
Is it a bad dream?
You know, I actually don't remember what happens, and I don't even fully know that I'm doing it.
Are you struggling with that?
Yeah, it's kind of sinking on me, but
should we fix that real quick?
It's cool.
Yeah,
okay.
We can have somebody come in and fix that.
No, you look like you're good now.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's sinking. It's fine.
You look like I did last night when I had a back spasm. I was just trying to act like I was fine, but I was sitting all fucking weird.
But the thing about the rooms, though, Stravers kind of lucked out most nights and had his own room.
Yeah, but it was heavily outweighed by the nights that he did not luck out at all.
That's true.
He was getting called by the hotel lobby, hey, this guy's in here and he says he knows you.
I would say, though, if we had to kind of lay it out on the table and talk about who won in the sleeping situation on the entirety of our career as a band, I came out on top.
If we had to say who lost, who would it be?
I feel like Tanner kind of got.
No, I lost.
Are we talking hats?
We're talking about.
We're just talking about like who got the word. Like out of all of the shitty nights we had to sleep in a weird situation, who got fucked the most?
I feel like hats. I lost the most.
I was pretty close second.
Wait, let's talk about hats. So, from the beginning of the band, when we started touring and up until the point when we started being able to afford hotel rooms, the first couple tours we did, we just slept in the van. So there was nothing really to debate about that. It's just like all of us were going to sleep like shit.
It was equally bad.
Yeah.
For everyone.
But once we started getting hotel rooms, it was 5 to 6 guys sharing one hotel room. So we'd have to sneak in because they didn't want more than 2 people sleeping in a hotel room, like any normal hotel.
Yeah, normally 2 people would check in, and then we'd find the
And then we'd find
exit.
the back door.
Yeah.
And we'd go in, and there'd be 5 to 6 guys sleeping in one room.
And
so,
like dragging blankets like we're in like fucking like peanut
and
characters.
Mattresses.
And mattresses.
Portable
we
mattresses.
bring portable mattresses.
So I think, this had to have been started in the first like 2 years of being a band, but I remember at one point someone was like, let's play hats. So we drew everyone's name, dropped it into a hat, and then someone got to pick out of the hat to see who was sleeping on the floor that night.
Yeah.
So every night, but we didn't make it fair. It wasn't like if you win one night, you don't
there
get
was no
to,
rotation.
There was no rotation.
No, it's luck of the draw.
So I would win like 5, 6 nights in a row. And I remember at one point, I remember this specifically. One time I won, and it was like my 5th night winning in a row, and it was your like 4th or 5th night losing in a row, and I won in hats. And you started screaming, and you were actually mad, and you just left the room,
dude. Well, the thing about like hats too is like we would make it the most interesting. So it wasn't just like you pull a name and like that person gets the first pick, the next person gets the second pick. It was like we'd pick like somebody else to be like, hey, you have to draw tonight. And so they would put their hand in the hat to grab the name, and then you'd be like, wait, what's this one for? And they'd be like, this is for the second to worst. And you're like, fuck, all right. And then so they pull it, and that person gets it. And it would always be at the end where it's like you're either sleeping on the floor or you get like a giant king bedroom to yourself, and you're like, okay. And it was so much more fun that way, where you knew the stakes were like
it was
actually
so
high.
fun.
Usually people were fighting for the floor though.
Yeah, I make Mont do that to me now. We just play hats, and sometimes I just sleep on the floor for fun.
You're like, okay.
Yo, one time we were staying, where was that Airbnb that we stayed at on tour, where we walked into the house and there happened to be a miniature basketball court in the basement?
Oh, we were in Washington.
Yeah, in the center of the house. Like,
do you remember that?
Yeah,
were we
dude.
in Washington?
Yeah, it was a day off. Because I remember I went to hang out with the Pepper guys at that one dude's house, and it was
okay. So
somewhere.
there's like a miniature basketball court in the middle of this house. So we decide that night we're not playing hats to see who gets the king suite, which we nicknamed the JS, right?
The jerk suite.
So we're playing a game of horse to see who wins the jerk suite.
Yeah.
we had like 3 nights there
this
too.
This is the best part of this though, bro. Dude, I should find a clip of you trying to dunk, and we can throw it up on the screen.
We have the video.
We'll find that and send it to them so we can maybe put it on here. But
and it was a mini hoop, so the thing was like 6 inches from my hand.
Yeah.
So
Ryan's
couldn't jump.
6'4".
So we're on tour. It's all 4 of us in the band, and we got Colby, our tour manager, and we got Pod, our merch dude that was doing merch at the time. And Pod immediately comes at this situation like super aggressively, like and confident that he's going to kick all of our asses in horse.
Oh yeah.
And he lost, like with a capital L, lost.
Dude, he was a little baby about it.
And
too.
he got mad. He threw like a tantrum. He had to sleep on the floor that night.
Yeah, he was. Pod was probably the funniest person we've ever had on tour, and it's like we brought him once because he used to work for this dude Dylan Reese, who we brought out to open for us, and we're like, hey, like let's bring Pod, and we like try it out. And Pod is like, he's from Buffalo, New York.
He's a big Polish dude.
He's a big Polish dude. I wish I could remember some like Polish slurs.
My last name
is
I was gonna say slurs, but
I thought you were going to say
Polish.
food.
Oh really?
I'm Polish. That's Stawiaz, dude. It's a Polish name.
I'd keep it to myself next time. No, but yeah, he would tell these stories, and they would just go nowhere. And so every single night we'd all be drunk after the show, and we'd be in the van, and we'd be like, Pod, tell us a story. And he's like, well, I don't know a story. And he'd get all worked up because he couldn't think of a story. And we'd be like, have you ever like, I don't know, we'd ask him a story, and sometimes we could tell he was like lying halfway through the story, but he was just so many extra details. He's like, but then my dad owned a restaurant, and I made this girl some big spaghetti with a bunch of meatballs, and she said it was the best meatballs she's ever had. But then like when I was cooking, it got really hot in there, and I called my dad, and I was like, Dad, it's really hot. And you're just like, what is happening? And like by the end of the story, it's just nowhere near where it's supposed to be. But he was like the best on tour because he would just always go on these weird rants. But I remember specifically he was talking so much about just how good at basketball he was and how much he played basketball. And Andy's like, I'm going to kill you. Like I'm 100% beating you at basketball. And Pod's like, no. And he fucking lost so bad. And we were playing with balls like they were like 5-inch. Like,
it was a basketball
5-inch
court made
balls.
for like
5-inch
fifth
balls.
graders.
Yeah, it was.
It was the perfect basketball court for all of us.
Dude, that was so much fun.
Airbnbs were actually my favorite
We
part of
stayed at a
tour.
lot of cool Airbnbs,
Yeah,
actually.
yeah. For any artists that might be, touring now, if you're listening to this, stop staying in hotels. Get Airbnbs on your day off. But that was dope because we'd be able to cook. And
Well, back in the day, Airbnbs used to be like cheaper than hotels. And now it's like you have to pay $500 just to like leave.
Right.
And you have to clean. Bullshit.
Wait,
you
do
should
you
do
remember-
one or the other. Pay $500 and not have to clean.
do you remember when I took a shit at that Airbnb and didn't flush it?
Ruin my Airbnb account, dude.
And the guy
Jeez.
running the Airbnb
I
said,
still can't get Airbnbs.
Yeah, he's
because
at
of-
hotels. He's on Verbo now.
Yeah, I had to switch.
we're leaving the Airbnb, and Tanner's like, Stravers, what the fuck? Did you not flush? And he's like, the dude's leaving me bad reviews, and he sent me this long, angry message that we didn't flush. And I didn't remember doing
Do you
that.
think you could find the review?
Yeah, let's see.
Because, I also remember like
was
we
pretty lengthy.
cleaned up all the trash and we left like a brown paper bag on the thing, and they said they left trash everywhere. And,
Yeah.
and defecated.
And see, that's the thing. Like, I don't know. There may have just been like a little poop stain in the toilet, and he's calling that not flushing.
I don't think.
No,
it was
I
a
don't
poop
think
stain.
that's it. I don't think it was a little
I don't think it was
stain.
just a little skid.
Knowing you, it's not a stain.
It could have
There's some
just been a
solids.
skid, you
There's
know?
solids.
There's solids in there.
Do you remember? I can't remember any other like really notable Airbnbs because the basketball court really. The best part about the basketball court was that it was inside the house, so
Well,
we
and
could
it was
just,
unexpected. We didn't know.
yeah. They
did
didn't
we
even
know?
fucking put it in the
I feel
listing.
like we walked in
No,
and just
dude.
saw a
No,
basketball.
we
It's a
court.
literally-
surprise basketball court.
None of us knew, dude.
There's
We
nothing better
walked-
than a surprise basketball court.
Yeah, we walked into that Airbnb having no idea there was a basketball court.
Oh,
there. That
the
was-
reason you brought the story up was instead of playing hats, we played fucking horse to get
Yes.
the restroom, to get the JS.
Yeah.
That's
And,
what it was.
I think you got the JS.
You know, I think I had to make a new
No, I
account.
think Andy did.
Oh, you did?
Andy
Yeah.
did.
Oh, Andy won.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
He was good at basketball. Actually, we were all just unathletic and.
Speak for yourself.
Oh,
You
this is
lost.
another funny thing. I remember when we'd get Airbnbs, that would also be the time. We usually got Airbnbs when we had like a day off the next day and didn't have to play a show. And I remember Andy would always find a gym, like a nice gym near the Airbnb. And I did this with him a few times where we'd go and walking in, he'd be like, Stravers, I got this. Like, let me handle this. Because we'd sign up for the free, couple day trial.
Yeah.
And Andy, for some reason, thought that he had to come up with this like elaborate story on what we do for work and why we're in town. And he would always have this story that we run this telecommunications company and we are developing software. He'd have this whole elaborate story. I'm like, Andy, I don't think you have to tell him all these details. It makes it look even.
He would always add so many details to his lies that it was just like, you're like, dude, you don't have to tell them that. Like, you don't-
7 lies and encompass into one.
The
Yeah,
more
and you're just like,
details
dude.
that he'd throw at us as to why he wasn't making it to band practice, the more reason we had to believe that
yeah.
it was a
It's
fabricated
like, oh, I'm
story.
sick, and then my car's in the shop, but it's also getting washed right now. You're like, oh, okay.
Oh, word. That sounds like a stressful day. You should take the day off, bro.
Cool. Take some time to yourself. Watch some new movies. Oh shit, dude. Bam Margera posted a video, and he hasn't seen his son in 3 days, and he said that he's gonna keep smoking crack until they bring him his kid. What do you feel about that?
That's sad.
I think it's, if you're going with the classic smoke crack until your family gets back together, it might work out for him.
You might want to think of some other options, but
I was at Chandler's skate park, or not Chandler. I was at Pecos skate park once in like 7th or 8th grade, and Bam Margera and the whole Element team showed up, and his eyes were just so red, and he looked so fucked up. But it was a long time ago, and he was crushing.
Yeah,
I mean, he could skate.
Oh, dude,
he
was
could
like
skate
a
really
god.
well. He could skate really well.
Bam
he
was
a good skater.
Bam was a god. I used to shoplift like him T-shirts from Hot Topic because I loved Bam so much.
Wow, him.
You skateboarded, right?
dude, I skated, dude.
Yeah. How old were you when you started skateboarding?
I don't know, like 8, probably like 13.
What skate park did you go to?
Chandler.
Yeah.
Or the Wedge. That was a small one, right? With all like the baby stuff.
Yeah, the Wedge in Scottsdale.
Mm-hmm.
Would you just like?
I saw Andrew Reynolds and some of the America guys come to that skate park.
Well,
once.
I know Ryan would kickflip all the time.
Yeah, he would heel flip.
Heel flip.
Ryan knows how to heel flip
Yeah,
on
heel
demand.
I can heel flip any given moment.
He still says that. He's still saying it. He's never done it.
Does anyone have a skateboard?
Dude, one time me and Andy got in like this we were like kids, and he came over to my house, and we were like into skating, and he said that he could heel flip, and I was like, no, you can't. I was like, I can heel flip, and he's like, no, you can't. And so he would do it, but he would take his foot off and then put it back on and be like, see, I did it. And I'm like, you took your foot off. And we were yelling at each other in front of my parents' house as like little kids because he was always cheating. But I saw there were so many pros that would go to that park. I saw like Caswell Berry and like Toy Machine.
I saw Wee Man there.
I saw Wee Man pull up to Barrow's Pizza because he was friends with Mike, the owner or the dude that managed the Barrow's Pizza, my first job. He was friends with Wee Man. And one day Mike pulls up in his Escalade and Wee Man's sitting in the passenger seat. I was sitting outside on my break and Wee Man just gets out of his Escalade. And I'm just sitting there. I'm like, that's Wee Man.
I bet.
And I talked to him for a second. And Mike, I had just burned Mike a copy. I burned him a CD of the Transplants album right when it came out. And Mike was like, hey, Stravs, this is Wee Man. And I was like freaking out because I skateboard and I know who Wee Man is.
Yeah.
And he just looks at me and he's like, that Transplants album's dope, bro. And I was like, yeah. And that was it. And I met Wee Man.
He would drive an Escalade.
Yeah.
He Wee Man probably didn't get any of the pizza with the pimples on it, huh? I think you talked about that last week about how there's kids just popping pimples into the pizzas.
I don't know if that guy was working. I don't know if he was popping the pimple blood into the dough yet at that point.
Yeah. But I mean, if I was somebody who was popping pimples into pizzas, I would give Wee Man like a little.
I'll say the main reason I don't eat Barrows is because I avoid pimple pizza.
Yeah, it's one of the biggest things, and I never have eaten there since you guys told me how gross it was. Did you work there too?
No.
What was your first job?
I don't know this. Rubio's.
Okay,
Rubio's.
I wanted to talk about
Rubio's.
Can you tell us about that?
Dude.
How old were you?
I was
16.
Yeah.
What was it like? Take us through the application process. How do you get this job?
Did you have an in?
I had an in with Rubio. No, but honestly, the main thing I remember is the salsa. I would make the salsas, and by making them, I mean add hot water to a giant frozen tub of salsa and just stir it up and throw it in the salsa bar.
What about the beans? What's their bean situation like? I imagine like big bags.
A lot of bags of beans, yeah. Yeah, big bags.
Dude, honestly, I think it was like 3 years ago, and I was like, Tanner, I swear to God, Rubio's has like great fish tacos. I was like, I don't know what it is. I went to a fucking fish taco festival, and the best ones I had there the whole weekend of all these like nice restaurants was fucking Rubio's. And so we were there on tour, and Tanner walks in. He's like, I think Tanner walked in to get his per diem. And I had an extra taco, and I was like, sit down right now and take one bite of this fish taco. And you did. And what'd you do? You went and got in line.
I bought 3 fish tacos.
Yeah, dude, they're good.
Didn't you work there with B-Dub?
I worked there with Andrew Gibson.
Oh, you worked there with Gibson.
Yeah.
Okay. Andrew Gibson was the first person to record. Well, Pat was the first person to ever record Andy's raps.
Right.
In like a closet. But when we were 14 or 15, Andrew Gibson recorded Andy's first solo hip hop project, which was just called, the album was just called Andy J, right?
Yeah.
And the cover photo is him sitting at a school desk in class. And so Garrett, the bass player of the Maine, just found a hard drive that had all of the sessions, the Pro Tools sessions that Andrew Gibson recorded Andy on. And I sent you guys a voice memo the other day.
Dude.
It is too vulgar, I think, to play on the podcast.
Oh yeah,
Maybe
that should never see the light of day, I don't think. But it's really funny.
It is so funny, dude, because it's him just in his full influence of Eminem, calling out girls at school and just saying the most outlandish shit. He has like Rick Ross energy in those raps. It's aggressive.
Rick Ross energy. What a funny person to say. We're all talking about Eminem already, and you go, he had Rick Ross energy.
It was aggressive. He was like making very just grown man sounds.
Yeah.
yells and grunts. That
So-
remind me of Rick Ross.
Because Tanner, you were like closer, like in high school or junior high and stuff with Andy than any of us.
I met him. I think it was his. Shit, I don't remember what birthday, but I met him at the mall, and he invited me to his birthday party at his house. And I show up, and he's got a full-on karaoke setup with like a DJ, but he's just rapping. And I think the guy that set it up just left. It just left it set up, and it's
Are you
just
sure it
like,
wasn't Jim's?
shit. It could have been Jim. I don't know.
So did you start hanging out with Andy right after that?
Yeah, I think it was like Chance and those dudes kind of introduced me to Andy.
Yeah.
And then I think I slept over there that night, and he had like bunk beds in his room, and
Did you have the booger wall back then? When we were kids, I went over to his house once, and he had a wall right next to his bed, and he just wiped boogers on.
I feel like most kids had a booger wall.
I didn't have a booger wall.
I didn't either, but Andrew Callie did.
Yeah,
booger walls are popular.
they were back then. Booger walls and piss bottles.
And
Wait, a lot of people probably don't know this too, but if you really think of the origin story of the band, you and Andy got together with Krebs and Kenny before you even came over to my house, right? How did it start? Like Andy hit you up. Did you guys started jamming a couple times before you came to my house? Do you remember?
yeah, we went to Krebs's once and kind of recorded some guitar stuff over like a beat I think he stole from the internet. Remember that website was like, what
Oh
was that
yeah,
website he used?
Beat Stars or no?
No,
There was like a specific website he'd always.
yeah. And he would just like, you're supposed to pay for him, but he would just download them and just.
Was that Only If I Knew Your Name? That song. Dun, 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 dun.
Might have been.
I found that one on YouTube. It's a cool song still.
We used
It's
to play
funny.
it. We played it live in the early stages of the band.
Yeah, and that's when like he was like, "Oh, Chili Peppers, like I need a band now," and he, we were friends already, and I was like, "Oh, but I like metal music."
He's like, yeah, cool. I play Atreyu. I'll join.
But I dress in all black and only listen to AFI. So you love Eminem. What are we gonna do?
You were also into other stuff though, or at that time weren't you? You were into Incubus, and you were
Yeah,
into,
I guess this was past my
Rufio stage.
Rufio stage. Yeah.
So like at the skate parks, it was probably just like Atreyu
Dude.
and Rufio.
Oh yeah.
Under oath.
It's
No under
No?
oath.
They're Christian.
I'm more satanic than Christian.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
it's interesting how kids now are finding music so much differently than we did, because a lot of the music that I found that I was really inspired by was through skateboarding or my friends' older brothers.
well, and you give each other CDs back then,
Yeah.
and like burn CDs and like
Yeah.
check this out.
And you'd only be able to listen to a couple CDs
Yeah.
a ton at a time. It was so different.
making your own burn CDs with like a playlist. Remember doing that?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I think when I first joined the band, you guys burnt me a CD with like hieroglyphics and Atmosphere on it. I never listened to them.
The
and
first
Slightly
time-
Stupid. I didn't ever hear any of them.
I'll never forget this. The first time I heard Atmosphere, it was the song Musical Chairs. And it was when Tanner asked me if I want to go to the gas station at band practice because we were taking a break. And we hopped in his...
Code for smoking pot. but-
Yeah. We hopped in his white 4Runner that had a dent in the front of it because I backed into his car. And you put on Musical Chairs. And I remember being... just like feeling I've never heard anything like this before and getting obsessed with Atmosphere. And that was the first time I heard Atmosphere. That was right when we started the band.
Yeah, I remember we were sitting in your garage about to pull out and open your garage and start backing out, forgetting that I parked right behind you, and neither of us fucking thought about that.
We were late for a show at the clubhouse. Yeah,
and you hit his car.
No, yes, but this is
in his driveway.
Dude, this is
just
in my
pulling out
driveway.
of his garage.
Dude, I also
pretty hard to miss a car.
No, hold on. I also backed into Kenny's car. So I backed into two band members' cars, and I'm pretty sure Kenny's car was in my driveway too.
You just didn't look. You just trusted it.
I think I was just going for it,
Dude, Kenny, remember when he would save his Chipotle wrappers and just throw them in his car?
Yeah, well, Kenny, right when we started the band, he had a Taco Bell burrito. You remember there was a loft in the band room?
Yeah.
He left a Taco Bell burrito up there without telling anybody, and then a year later, he told us, and he pulled it down, and it was just like petrified. It was just solid.
For what? What was it?
A Taco Bell
Taco
burrito,
Bell burrito. It was like a bean
that he
bean
left up
cheese
there
burrito.
for a year. and
Dude,
didn't tell
you guys had
anybody.
this one friend. I think his name was like Brian or something. He was like kind of like a bigger like metalhead kid, and I remember getting in his car once, and he had like 30 like Chipotle bags in there.
Oh. Brian Jones.
Yeah.
I remember. Yeah.
I remember it's the messiest car I've ever been in my entire life.
I thought that was Kenny.
No, that was Brian. I remember that.
Yeah. Good times, you know?
Yeah.
Good times.
Speaking about good times, I recently went and saw Matchbox 20
nice.
by Rob Thomas.
Oh yeah, we got to talk about that. That's. I'm jealous,
dude. It was really great. My friends hit me up and asked me if I wanted a free ticket, and I was like, yeah, for sure. Should we go to Chili's beforehand? And we went to Chili's beforehand, and then like my main friend out of the group bailed, so I was just like with his friends, but I know them too, but it was just kind of like funny, and like
I called Ryan a couple of days ago, and he picks up and goes, "What's up, dude? I'm at Chili's."
And we ordered drinks, and like one of my friends or one of the guys there, he ordered like a frozen sangria or something, and the server, she looked like the little girl in Finding Nemo with like the braces and the hair things, the ponytails. And she goes, I was going to say something, but I'm not. And we're like, what? And she's like, I was going to call you a pussy. And we're like, what? And then she leaves. And then so she comes back, and she gives him his drink or whatever. And then we go and we order another round. And this time he orders like a strawberry margarita or something funny. I don't know. He was like ordering really funny shit that night. And she didn't say anything this time, and she's just laughing. And she leaves, and she comes back. She goes, "Ladies first." And she gives him the thing. And then we went and we saw the Matchbox 20, and it was more people there than It was incredible. It was so many people. It was more people than when I saw Nos there. It was more people than when I saw fucking Incubus.
Well deserved.
It was like
hits.
So this guy went to Chili's, got called a pussy, and then went to Matchbox 20 concert.
Yeah, and he knew all the words. And I was like, dude, you actually know this? I thought we were here as a joke. I haven't listened to this since I was like 8 years old. And these guys are like, oh, wait, no, you got to wait. They had the set list on their phone. And I was like, this is awesome. Oh. And they're like, no, you have to wait. I was like, I'm going to leave early because I have to like somewhere to be in the morning. I don't want to get like too fucked up and feel like shit. And they're like, you have to stay for the encore because the only songs that you're going to know are going to be on the encore.
That's true.
And so we wait. And so I'm sitting there. I post a picture that I'm at Matchbox 20. And my friend, or Corey, texts me, and he goes, dude, I had a friend that used to tour with Matchbox 20, and Rob Thomas would text him every single night at 3 a.m. and ask him if he wants to hang out. And I was like, no fucking way. And then the next song that they play is their hit song called 3 a.m. And he goes, it's 3 a.m., I must be lonely. And I said it to my friend. I was like, wait, were you making a joke about the song? He's like, no, I don't know any of their music, but that is fucking hilarious. So Rob Thomas parties. And he looked fucking great. He started losing his voice near the end of the night, but that's understandable because he gives it his all.
Yeah.
We all recently went and saw the Red Hot Chili Peppers together.
Ooh.
Oh, wait, before the worst part. So I leave like 2 songs before it's over, and I get stuck in the parking lot for an hour of all Matchbox 20 fans everywhere, and I can't fucking leave. So I'm just in line that's not moving, and I'm stuck there for literally a fucking hour, and it was like 12:30 by the time I got home.
Were you listening to Matchbox 20?
Dude, no, I was listening to fucking The Garden, just like weird punk shit, and all these people are like, the fuck's going on over here?
This isn't Rob.
This is not Rob. Dude, it was a whole crowd of like 15,000 people that looked like they work at CBS. I'm like, who's managing the stores?
They are an essential band on the CBS soundtrack.
I was like, it looked like a free concert, like that kind of crowd, you know? It was like 15,000 free concert attendance. But, you know, give it up to him. He looks fucking great. He's 50. And all of his band members look like absolute dog shit. They look like they're 70. But Rob's making fucking money. So yeah, good on them. It was a fun show, and I'm glad I went. And they actually performed great. So
wow, turn that around.
Yeah. My mom loved the Matchbox 20. She had all the CDs. I remember going to the mall, you know, just driving to the mall, listening to Matchbox 20 in the back seat.
I wanna push you around.
Yep.
Like that?
Yep. Just like that.
I will.
Yeah, she was singing that. See, that I didn't know they did that song, but once they played that, I was like, oh, here we fucking go.
They have some certified hits, man.
But the Chili Peppers show.
I gotta say, dude, so that was really rad because that was the first show I ever saw. The first concert I ever went to was Red Hot Chili Peppers. When I was 13, Flaming Lips opened, and that was kind of the moment where I was like, I want to play drums. That's what I want to do. And we recently, all three of us ended up going to the Chili Peppers. You were the only one with tickets beforehand.
Yeah.
And then I got offered a ticket by our friend Rohan. Shout out Rohan. And you
Shout out Brian Hayden.
You got a ticket last minute, like day of show. He said, I have an extra ticket. You want to come?
No, it was like an hour before they were about to go on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hayden texts me. He's like, I think we're sitting next to each other, and he's like, Tanner's coming to right now. I was like, fuck yeah, because I was trying to convince you to like cancel your plans and buy a ticket last minute.
I was working. You could say I work and have a job.
Well, he said, or you were like, dude, the pit tickets are like $120, and I was like, are you fucking kidding? Because I paid $300 and I'm like 20 rows behind the pit. I could have.
You had good seats. Though.
I had really good seats. But
dude, I was so impressed by their performance. I feel like they sounded tighter than I've ever seen them, and their musicianship. It's just crazy how they've gotten better. And Anthony sounded amazing, dude.
Really good.
Because I've seen performances in the past where it was a little shaky.
Yeah.
And they just sounded so sick.
And the jams, dude.
Dude, the jams were epic.
And because they wing all of those too, and it's like it makes it so much cooler.
Fucking good. It's like they're getting better at their instruments as they get older. It's just fucking crazy.
Which usually does.
Most of those bands, like, they don't like, they're not going to practice, and they're just going to go play the songs and then get out. But like, they sounded better at that show than they did when I had seen them the year before. Even it's pretty cool. Thundercat was sick. The Strokes were fucking not sick.
The Strokes were pretty boring, man.
Dude, the guy walked out.
I guess you sign up for that if you like that
swollen, and he had one glove on. And there was a part of the set where he just goes, "Thank you for sitting out there and just taking it."
He also was mumbling some weird shit about YOLO and Drake as if he was trying to be funny. And it just was very, it was like...
I sat there their whole set and I was just like, oh, they really have two songs. But their two songs are like the biggest fucking songs in alt rock. Like, they're like... They're probably every other song on the radio. Like, they're really good too, like those songs. But it was just like, all the other songs sounded like they were trying to make those.
I gotta say, I felt like I kind of was watching a band practice with lights.
Yeah.
That had like a sick light show. Like a band practice that had really sick lights.
It was interesting.
It's fucked up to say.
Yeah, but I was like, all right, I think it's time to go try to get a beer or something. I'm not gonna.
Thundercat was sick.
Thundercat was crazy.
I've never seen Thundercat live, so that was amazing. His drummer.
You missed all of them,
I missed both of those.
Dude, Thundercat's drummer was crazy.
Dude, his whole band, he's so sick.
Yeah,
it's got to be cool. Like seeing videos of Flea and him like working, like learning shit together. It's fucking cool. It's cool that
Does Flea like jam with his, like during his set or anything?
No, but like backstage, I've seen videos of like Thundercat like showing him shit on bass because like Thundercat's like the best bassist alive right now, and then Flea's one of the best of all time. So it's like it's really cool. I feel like that's probably, I don't know. I just felt like Flea was like almost better than ever when I saw him, and I was like, I wonder if he's picking up some fucking
tips
shit.
Yeah.
I don't understand how he stayed. Like, Flea is the fastest like bassist. Like, he can play faster than anybody else with like just his hands, and I don't understand how he maintains that with getting older. You know what I mean? Like, usually your hand like, I don't know, it's like it's hard to maintain like speed like that, and it's fucking nuts. He's so fucking good.
Mm-hmm. I watched a Thundercat interview with Zane Lowe the other day.
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
No, I haven't watched that.
It's pretty wild. He talks about the whole situation with when Mac Miller died, and talking about how for like an entire year, just when he was walking down the street, people would come up to him and just say shit about Mac Miller.
Yeah.
And he said it was just like one of the most brutal times in his life, and he ended up realizing he needed to get sober and just change all this stuff about his life. But
he looks great now. He like lost a shitload of weight and dresses cool. And
yeah, but I would imagine playing that kind of music that's that technically, I don't know, advanced and demanding physically, it would be hard to continue doing that for a long period of time and continue partying.
Well, Chili Peppers, they're all healthy guys. You know, they don't party or drink.
They have a
or
chef.
do
They have a chef
drugs
that goes on tour.
I'm
with them.
sure.
I'm sure all those guys do. But
yeah,
so, I mean, they're like they're like almost 60 years old.
Yeah,
right.
Anthony does not look like he's 60 years old.
Because he's on T,
Wasn't
baby.
he wearing like a boot too? Like, wasn't he injured?
Yeah, he was on a boot and he was like jumping on it. It was sick.
Yeah.
And then when we saw Incubus, he'd like pulled his back and he sat down the whole show.
Hey, dude, props to him though.
It was really
it was
good.
Still,
It was still
I never imagined being able to see a band where the singer sits the whole time and you're still captivated, and they put on a really good show.
I honestly didn't even notice that he was like sitting during that one.
For people that don't know, we went and saw Sublime with Rome and hung out with them backstage when they played at Auction Pavilion, right?
Yeah.
And it was when they were on tour with Incubus. This was like 5 or 6 months ago, maybe, right? I don't know.
It was a little bit longer, probably.
Yeah, something like that.
But the three of us were, the three of us.
They're one of those bands where I actually get like nervous.
Dude, I got nervous.
Me too.
We were standing side stage watching Sublime with Rome, and Michael Enzinger and his kids came up and like stood right by us, and I remember looking at you, and you realized it too, and we were just like, oh shit, that's Michael Enzinger.
Dude, yeah. I mean, when we like for starting the band, like they were so formative for us, especially that Live from Red Rocks and Incubus. Like I love Incubus still. Like they're so fucking good.
Because of that DVD, you had that DVD in high school, and I remember all of us watching it together, and I remember having dreams in high school that we were playing Red Rocks. And then when that actually came true and that happened, it was such a crazy moment for me, because it was literally one of those my dream came true type things.
Yeah, I mean, like I don't know if I would have known what Red Walks.
I
didn't
know I'd play Web Walks.
What an experience here.
Wait, is that a kid that also has a New York accent?
What an experience here.
Your accents are so good.
Yeah, but at Web Walks,
well, Andy always looked up to Brandon Boyd. Like he was heavily influenced by Brandon Boyd when he started singing. For sure.
Yeah. I mean, to a point where, it was kind of a. It was
to a
kind
point
of
where he started wearing fedoras and dressing like him.
Well, let's talk about the Halloween that Andy decided. We were all dressed up in costumes, and Andy shows up, and he's got a fedora and a scarf on, and Ryan goes, "Who are you?" What did he say, Ryan?
I'm Russell Brand. There was another one where one Halloween he showed up because he was totally the guy that just wants to try to look hot, and so he picked a fedora. But
interesting choice.
Yeah, there was another another year where he showed up to a Halloween party, and he just had a sweatband on his head, and I was like, "Who are you?" And he's like, he just said some random fucking tennis player that was like a famous tennis guy that nobody knew, but he just put that on, and he's just wanted to like look cool because it was like a hot guy that played tennis. Holy shit. That is so funny. Yeah, he would always just be really bad at Halloween. I would too, though. I remember one year I was going to dress up as Jafar, and because every single Halloween of my entire life, I've come up with my costume idea.
I don't know who that is.
Aladdin.
Oh. Yeah. Every year
He's the villain, right?
Yeah, he's the villain guy.
Yeah.
Every year on Halloween, I come up with my costume about an hour before I go to the party, and so I took my my high school graduation gown, and I cut it up, and I made a head thing, and I just looked so bad. Like it was I looked like I just cut up a fucking graduation gown, put it on my head, and then drew on a mustache. And I went to the party, and then my friend Alon was there, and he showed up as Jafar, but he had this like $500 Jafar costume on.
Did you not know?
I looked like
Jafar a hot topic.
I don't know why. It was like the odds of both of us picking Jafar, And we show up, and I stood right next to him, and I was like, I just looked like the absolute like crack version. I looked like the Bam Margera version of Jafar, and he looked like fucking great. And he's also like Persian, so it just worked. Did not work for me.
You're not very Persian.
I'm not that Persian, no.
He had an upper hand for sure.
He did. I remember one time Andy had this fake ID of our friend, and the dude in the fake ID had a mustache, so Andy drew a mustache on and made me drop him off at the bar, and he called me back like 15 minutes later. He's like, "Dude, can you come pick me up? They're not gonna let me in." But he literally drew a mustache on his face to try to look like his ID. I was like, "Dude, people shave. Like you can just say that you shaved. Like nobody's gonna ask you about where did your mustache go."
So in here, in this photo, you have a mustache. Where did it go?
Starts holding it. Yeah, I don't know. He that was like one of his like things. Like his justifications of weird, like extra lies. He's like, no, this is gonna like help. I was like, dude, you literally drew on your face and then tried to go into a bar. I'm an adult. Oh shit.
Oh man, dude.
Oh shit. So when I was bringing up your night terrors.
Yeah.
So when we played Cali Vibes recently in February, we got a bus to like take everybody over there. Yeah. And so you guys didn't even sleep on the bus yet, right? You guys like left super early that morning. Mm-hmm. And so at the festival, they're staying on the bus overnight.
The bus is parked, not moving.
Parked in the parking lot. They're sleeping there.
On a slope.
It was it was not a slope. We were parked there, or I wasn't in the bus with them, but in the very middle of the night, Tanner has one of his night terrors, and then falls out of the top bunk and hits the fucking floor.
Dude, I woke up so scared. I thought the bus was on fire because I just heard someone yelling.
He thought he was on fire.
Yeah, how do you think I felt?
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, I don't know. Dude, I don't know.
Yeah, we were like, yeah, Tanner fell out of his thing on the bunk. They're like, oh, on the bus, and he's like, yeah, it wasn't moving.
It's just one of those things where like I don't notice it, so I don't care.
By the time
you wake up, like you can't
it affects
breathe.
everyone around me, but not me.
But
so
by the time you come to, you're just like, oh, I'm awake. So the last thing you remember is like, oh, I'm just awake right now, and then you just fall back asleep.
Well, it depends. It's different if I'm falling out of a bunk. I realize that I just did that, but
yeah.
I used to sleepwalk a lot, and I used to like wake up trying to turn the lights on.
My dad sleptwalk, dude.
Yeah.
He
would
like scare the shit out of us.
I would like walk into my mom's room and just like talk gibberish and then just go back to bed.
Dude,
weird.
That'd be so scary.
My dad
kid walking in just speaking gibberish and dipping.
I remember one time my dad was sleepwalking and he locked himself out of the house in his underwear. He was just in his underwear and he was banging on our front door. And my mom wakes up, doesn't know where he is, and someone's banging on the front door. She freaked out. She's about to call the police. Realized it was him when she looked through the window and let him inside. And he was still asleep. Like he would be in a trance sleepwalk.
Dude, I used to sleepwalk too. My mom said one time that I was in the garage in my underwear and the garage was opening. Like I was about to just leave. I don't know where I was going to go. But I woke up in the garage and my mom's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, what am I doing in here?
What am I doing? What's that whole thing where you're not supposed to wake people up? Isn't that bullshit?
Yeah, I think it's bullshit.
Yeah.
They say that they get violent. There was a dude in Arizona that stabbed his wife like 40 times, I think, while he was sleepwalking.
Maybe that's why.
Yeah. Maybe they woke him up.
I remember one time because it's happened so many times where you wake up screaming and wake everyone up in the hotel room. But I remember one time specifically where you had one of those episodes and you just pop up and you start yelling, and all I hear is Ryan yell, "Shut the fuck up." But not in a, like you're kidding way, like just shut the fuck up. And then you like went back to sleep and that was it.
Well, once we so in the early days when it would be like 4 of us in a room, we would have to share beds. And so me and him would share a bed and I would wake up and like we would both have like our separate blankets and we'd be like on the other sides of like a full mattress. So we're like right next to each other. And then the whole bed just starts shaking. It's like, and I feel like I'm like dying. Like,
so who really won with the room situation?
You did. You got probably the best sleep. But then once we would get our own rooms or not our own rooms, but like we would go get like multiple rooms every night, then like we would have our own areas and then you would yell and I would just be like, I'm going to put my headphones in.
Dude, I remember this was actually one of the recent, I think this was maybe the most recent tour that we did, but we had one night where we could only get like 3 hours of sleep because we had to leave for the next morning to the next city. And Andy, we were all just so excited to finally get some sleep. And Andy went down to the hotel lobby, bought a pint of ice cream, and came up and sat on my bed because I'm sharing a bed with him. And he's just sitting there slowly and very loudly slurping his ice cream. And Colby's like, Andy, stop. And he's like, dude, I'm sorry. I'm trying to eat it quietly. And then like it's silent again for a minute. And then we just hear him like slurping the ice cream again.
Dude, I remember Colby would snore so fucking loud, and we'd wake up in the morning, and just if you looked over by Colby, there'd be like 4 shoes, a pillow, because everybody in the middle of the night would just chuck whatever was closest to him at his body to try to wake him up.
What? Yeah, he was a bad snorer, but then he went away. It's weird.
Yeah, he like stopped snoring.
Why
somehow.
can't my night terrors go away?
You need to talk to somebody. Oh shit, that's so funny, man.
Wow.
I miss like those tour days. I miss like the days when it was like rough. Now, like looking back on it, it's just so funny because we went through some serious hell.
Yo, we really did pay some dues and eat shit in the beginning. I think a lot of bands. I don't know how many bands when they're younger have that kind of, like looking back on it now, have that drive to have literally no money except a tour, sleep in the van, eat peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah.
Well, so it's miraculous that it worked out to some degree.
Yeah, it somehow worked.
It's kind of crazy.
But we all, I mean, it just shows like how much we all wanted it, you know?
Yeah.
We were willing to like sleep
at Walmart's?
At Walmart's in a van when it was like 100 degrees out or, you know.
Not shower. And
definitely not willing to do that anymore.
Steal food.
Yeah, we stole every meal pretty much.
Yeah.
It was great.
The biggest come up was when people wanted to have you over and cook a big, nice home cooked meal for you.
Yeah, it was nice until it got weird.
Yeah. Be like, you sure you've had enough? You're like, yeah.
How you been lately, Tanner?
Good. Just screaming and living.
Screaming and living, dude.
Screaming and living.
So, we're all on T now, testosterone.
Well, I had to back off my tea because I was having side effects.
Yeah, Tanner goes, I just went blind for an hour. Or what was it?
I went blind for a little bit.
First of all, we're not all on tea. We're on the Huberman collection, right?
They're vitamins, but it's all right.
They're vitamins.
But it's funny to call it
it's funnier to call it tea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah, Tanner goes like, I just went deaf. Or what did you say?
No, my left eye like went just blind. And I just was like nauseous for like a day.
Have you been...
And it's the only thing I was taking.
Yeah.
So.
Have you been hitting the gym hard lately?
Not really.
It doesn't matter if you're on tea, bro.
It doesn't matter. You don't need the gym with tea.
Yeah, you don't.
No.
That's how it works.
Not at all.
Dude, my throat keeps creaking, and I think I can hear it in the microphone.
You got a crick in your throat?
Got a creak. I don't know what's going on.
You got a crick?
Too much coffee?
Coffee will do that.
How much coffee do you guys drink a day?
This is my 3rd cup.
Already?
Yeah.
Damn. Are you
I
drinking?
usually do two big cold brews.
Do you drink 3 to 4 cups a day?
Not usually. I was just up early today, so I had 2 when I woke up, and then this was my 3rd. So
yeah, I think if I drink more than 3 a day, I feel weird the next day. I think I have caffeine. Is caffeine overdose a real thing? It kind of is. You feel jittery for 2 days after?
Did you hear it? Oh, stop.
You have a frog in your throat?
Dude, I don't know what's going on. I think it's the nicotine in the coffee. And the Matchbox 20.
That'll give you a crick in your throat. The Matchbox 20.
Yeah. We're meeting up on the studio on Monday.
Yeah, we got some more work to do. We got a lot of...
We've
made a lot of progress. I'm excited.
Yeah, we have. I mean, shit, it's almost done, right?
Yeah, kind of. We're just waiting on some very key parts and some vocals and stuff from other artists, but it's coming along.
Yeah, man. It's been a very crazy process.
Well, Post Malone, we're waiting on you.
Best year of my life.
Yeah, if anyone knows Post Malone, tell him we want him on the new album.
Yeah, I'm sure he's watching this already, so
yeah,
that'll be good. Should we call it? Should we wrap this one out?
Sure. What time we at? Sure. It's up to you guys.
I don't know.
I got a Matchbox 20 show to go to.
Yeah, so. I've got to go sit in a parking lot for 3 hours.
Dope. Well, thanks for listening to the Kamp podcast.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, thanks for coming back. I always think that you don't like doing this stuff, but if you like doing it, we'll have you a lot more.
There's only so many times you can talk about my night terrors, so
that's true. But we'll come up with something
find
new.
More shit.
Yeah.
Ryan's good at finding people's flaws.
That's true.
Yeah.
So we'll figure it out.
This will be my therapy. How about that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah,
This will be your therapy to get through your night terrors, and I'll just sit over here and my throat will fucking creak for an hour.
Ryan's got to go get the frog out of his throat, but thank you guys for tuning into Kamp. And, thanks to Tanner Riccio for being here, man.
Peace out.
Love y'all. Peace.
Later.